So joint practices are in the books with the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. Two intense days of practice. Um, some almost fights. You know, teams intense, hot days. We're gonna talk all about it, man. It's talking sporty. It's your boy Zaho Facts. Let's get it.
Stop the motherfucking pack. Yo.
Shall I begin? Pussy niggas get served. Another bridge to burn. Either live or you learn. Digits get earned. Off the head top, it ain't perm. Never been the type to curl like Big Worm. Catch your fade over your shoulder. Try to test my release. You get deceased. Smoke like the kush overseas from Middle East. No beast. I ain't touched that shit since 12 or 13. Ducking 12 from lurking while we skelling murk things. Kinda clock my life and still laughing most of the timeline. Try to come between me and Fetty, a fine line.
So as y'all know, on Wednesday we reported to New England to do joint practice with the New England Patriots, AJ Brown's new home team. Just to state the obvious and put that one out there. And honestly, bro, I think it was a productive 2 days of practice. It gave our offense a really good look against a defense that isn't ours. So you're not going against the same scheme every day. And then vice versa with the defense going against an offense that isn't the same offense. And also it isn't an offense that's going over a whole overhaul of installs with new plays and new cadences and stuff like that. That's more of a well-oiled machine over there with Josh McDaniels being the offensive coordinator, longtime offensive coordinator over there in New England. Um, so the nuances and everything is real familiar with the quarterback, with the offensive line that they have. Really, they have two new additions to their offense that's kind of big time, which is AJ Brown and Romeo Dobbs. And listen, they both balled out. There was plays that Q was on AJ, balled out, can't even hold you. And everybody wants to talk about, speaking of hold you, everybody want to talk about the one rep with Q, uh, quote unquote holding AJ. I think that's just Q's just a physical corner, bro. He gets away with a lot of those in the regular season, like just objectively speaking. So if you're gonna have an issue with it and nitpick it at it now because it's AJ Brown, like just don't be all jolly when he gets away with one in the regular season because you're not keeping the same energy as a fan. You know what I'm saying? But I think they had some really good reps against each other, and it's funny because the first day seemed like there was a little bit of tension. It was like, how does everyone react to everything? There was one tweet that said that Vrabel got in Jalen Hunt's face because Jalen Hunt made a play that was meant for AJ Brown. I think he got a pick on Drake May yesterday, and Jalen Hunt, man, he's having a hell of a fucking camp right now. He With all the noise about Grenard, and obviously Grenard is missing a lot of time, Vic Fangio did tell the media yesterday that now that we're kind of approaching the end of training camp, he's starting to be a little worried for week one, if we're being completely real. So for Nolan Smith, that should be music to your ears. Jalen Hunt, even before it was announced that Jonathan Grenard was going to miss time, Jalen Hunt has been grabbing the bull by the horns and just going fucking nuts this camp. I think he's showing a lot more of his versatility because his IQ is there with the defense. There's no guessing with what he has to do. He knows what he has to do. Third year in the system. And he is our hybrid guy. So if you look at defenses that Fangio has had in the past, he always loved to drop back his edge rushers to give more versatility, disguise more. Wouldn't even call them blitzes. Disguise more 4-man attacks because he really wants to rush 4. It's just the way that he rushes 4 is very unique. He could rush 4 with your 2 tech and 3 tech rushing, 1 edge rushing, and then 1 linebacker coming up the middle of the field while 1 edge drops middle or 1 edge might drop into the flats. he loves to disguise things that way, and Jalix Hunt fits the mold perfectly. Think of Andrew Van Ginkel before he earned his money in Minnesota. That 1 year in Miami where he was under Fangio, I think that is the closest thing to what Jalix Hunt is right now for this defense. If you wanted to kind of compare and contrast, I think Jalix Hunt might be a step better than someone like Andrew Van Ginkel from a coverage perspective, just because of the background that Jalix Hunt has as a former safety. Now, kind of using that to his advantage. I mean, dude, he led the league in. I mean, the league. I'm sorry, he led the team in interceptions last year. So it's not far fetched to say that Jalix Hunt can't play a pivotal role in the pass game. With being more than just a pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to Jalix Hunt. He's having a hell of a camp. Dontavian Wicks has been balling these past couple of days. I mean, if there's any question regarding, um, who the guy on our team that wants to fit the AJ Brown role and wants to just make us forget, like, not make us forget we had AJ Brown, but just kind of ease the fans like, hey, relax. You still got a demon who can jump up, get the ball, run great routes, and is hungry and is eager to be a good wide receiver in this league. Dontavian Wicks is showing us that we shouldn't be as worried about the wide receiver position as we have been. I mean, let's call a spade, bro. A lot of us have kind of called for, trading for wide receiver depth. With the injuries to Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon, things were kind of up in the air. I think these last couple of days have kind of put that to bed. If we do make a move, it has to be after we see what the regular season looks like. If we don't get the production that we're looking for, then make the move. But I wouldn't. I mean, right now, bro, it's August 20th. We're about a couple of weeks away from the regular season, maybe 3. Just see what you got. Keep building the offense. Keep building things up. Hollywood Brown has come alive in these last couple of days in camp. I do worry about his route running only because a lot of the picks that I've noticed Jalen Hurts have thrown, whether the ball was a little underthrown or whether corners are making good breaks on the football. A lot of the time, it's when Hollywood Brown is running the route, and I'm wondering if just the communication between quarterback and receiver isn't quite there, or if Hollywood Brown is like depending on his speed and athleticism versus running the route technically, and getting the ball where Jalen wants him to get the ball versus him trying to just beat somebody with his speed. I do worry about that a little bit. Small concern in the greater scheme of things, but I mean, we got to see what we got in these receivers before we make any drastic moves. Devontae Smith did come back. Mekhi Lemon actually practiced for the first time today in the last couple of weeks. No full team drills, but he did practice in some, regular routine catch drills, running routes. He was, full pads. He just didn't take any hits, and he didn't get any reps with the first, second, or third team offense. So it's gonna be a slow build up, and I'm not mad about that with Mekhi Lemon. I mean, we see the Jordan Tyson situation out in New Orleans, so I'm not gonna jump off a cliff to say like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we got to see what we got. And, no, don't rush him back. Let him ease back into the way, and we get what we get out of the production when we need to get that production. We don't need to see Mekhi Lemon be 400 yards in the first 4 games, 100 yards a game, like just to justify the pick. I think it's going to be a slow, steady grind. This is a wide receiver by committee situation when you pass Devontae Smith. Another player I want to talk about these past couple of days that have, really flashed and really shown that he was worth the investment that we made for that 1 year deal that we gave him is Reek Woolen. Reek Woolen has had a couple of picks the last couple of days on Drake May. He's guarded AJ Brown. He's gotten some stops on AJ Brown. He's allowed some catches from AJ Brown, but he's competing, man, and I love that out of Reek Woolen, man. I think he got like I said before when we first signed him, he got a really bad rap in Seattle for playing very intensely, maybe being a guy that was kind of maybe, I wouldn't say disliked by his teammates, but probably just being a guy that was a little overly emotional for his teammates, where he kind of realizing like, I did win a Super Bowl, I did help my team propel, but I didn't get the most out of what I wanted, and I have another opportunity to right now to play for a really good team that's in that window, just as Seattle was. and he doesn't want to mess this up. And I think Vic loves him, which was the main thing when he got here. That was the main concern that I had was like, given the things that we heard, is he gonna mesh with Vic well? And so far, man, it's been so great through camp. He's been a team player. He's been all ears when it's come to Q and Coop and everybody else giving him advice. And I just think he's gonna be a guy that, when it's all said and done, when if we make it far into the postseason, Rick Woolen will be a really big reason why, in my opinion, because a lot of teams, when they would look at our defense last year, would look at, okay, we're gonna throw the ball Dory Jackson's way or Keely Ringo's way. We're gonna give them plenty of work, but you can't do that with Reek. I think he's the guy that gets better with volume. You give him enough chances, he might take a couple of them things down. You know what I mean? So he's not someone to just be played with. And I think that we're going to see this year probably the best version of Rick Woolen since his rookie year. That's kind of my big prediction for our secondary. Obviously, with Quinyon and Coop, you don't really got nothing to worry about. Everybody want to talk about Cooper DeJean with that whole route that one of their receivers ran on him, where he kind of made him look silly. Um, when you're practicing those rep drills, it's okay to kind of guess the route, if you know, and if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. But it's practice. That's the time to do it. Um, Grant, you know what I mean? No matter what anyone says, yeah, if he gets beat on a route, guess what? We have safety help over the top, dog. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's the end of the world if he gets beat on a route. If you allow catches, you allow catches, but it's the physicality with Coop. It's the being able to play the box and run fits with Coop, using him as a chess piece. You know what I mean? Being able to play him back in safety, play him in the slot, play him man if you want to. You can do those things. So I'm not worried about one rep. Either way, even with Quinyon giving up catches to AJ, it used to happen in practice all the time the last couple of years that he was with us. We just never used to talk about it because of the simple fact that it was, iron on iron. So at the end of the day, I do think everyone has been overblowing things because it's the Patriots and because of the whole situation. But I really do like the production that you get out of these joint practices, no matter what team you're going against. It does seem like players get more out of it than if they would have just practiced against their team that week. And then the last thing before I go, it's gonna be a quicker video today, y'all. I'm honestly not feeling good. I got a little stomach virus, to keep it a bean with you. So I just wanted to make this a little quick today. But the last thing I did want to discuss was AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. They did chop it up today after practice for a little bit. Just caught up with each other, little handshake, little talking. There was people that like zoomed in on Jalen, and he says like, "I'm sure you're happy." I don't know what the hell they was talking about. Truth be told, it ain't none of my business. But Jalen did say like, "Hey, I'm sure you're happy." And if we do contextualize it, he's probably saying, "I'm sure you're happy with your situation. You're where you want to be. It probably was the best decision for you and your family." Jalen Hurts said in the presser yesterday that he, still got a lot of love for AJ. Always have had a lot of love for AJ. Y'all gotta keep in mind throughout the bullshit that even if they're beefing, this beef will never be like it's coming to blows or I just don't fuck with you or fuck that nigga, or the most extreme that you're gonna that you would see from this situation is already kind of been passed. Now that they're not in the same locker room anymore, if anything, we should encourage more of what we just seen. Repair, um, conversation, knowing that before we were teammates, we were brothers. So let's find a way to get back to that. Fuck football for a second. Because at the end of the day, everyone in the media, everyone wants to encourage beef all the fucking time. And I kind of go back, and obviously I'm not going to make a direct comparison in terms of greatness. I'm not talking about that because people are stupid. People like to fucking pick and choose when, oh, why are you comparing it? There's no comparison. I'm only talking about the situation that they went through. I'm not talking about fucking rings, success, and nothing. But you look at Kobe and Shaq, right? And I go back to the interview that Kobe and Shaq did probably in right before Kobe retired. So like 2015, 2016. when they did that interview at the Lakers at the Lakers gym or the practice facility or whatever, and there was a clip where Shaq said to Kobe, you know, if I was mature enough at that time, we would have 7 rings. And I loved like the humanity and everything. And even after Kobe passed away, rest in peace, the fact that Shaq always holds him into the highest regard. You would think that when them two was really going at it with each other in the, 2003, 2004 season, 2005, leading up to the trade, you would think that those two hated each other and never wanted anything to do with each other. But honestly, they got to a place where they were probably closer as adults, grown ass men, than they ever were as teammates, ever. And I think that we're more likely to get a situation where later on there may be some regret. There may be some, we should have did it this way. We could have had something special type of deal. But I want it to be sooner than 10 years from now or 15 years from now. And if they can just talk and slowly work their relationship back to a place where they can be brothers again, because I know for them, it probably meant more for them to just get back to a place where they were cordial, and maybe him leaving the team was the step into doing that. We will never know the full context of what happened between them. We could speculate, we could talk about side chicks and things interfering with winning, and we can have our own speculations as fans. But ultimately, it's between those two men, and it was encouraging just to see them to chop it up at the very least. And whether they left things unsaid or didn't leave things unsaid, that's none of our business. But I do think for us as Eagles fans, that was probably, for me at least, I looked at it as like the first step to healing over this shit. Um, Really, the whole 2 days of joint practice was step one to healing over this shit. I don't think we should really follow the Patriots' journey along this season and uh, stat watch every single game, because that's what players are that's what people are going to want to do on social media. You're going to have the people that are going to compare AJ's stats in Philly to AJ's one season in New England after this season is over. And if he has a better season than 2022 and 2023, then Jalen Hurts ruined him. And if he has a worse season, then Jalen Hurts may not be that bad after all. So it's like, bro, like it's all speculation, man. It's all speculation. But I did feel like I had to do my due diligence and chop it up with y'all about it. So that's that, man. But overall, great 2 days. Preseason game on Saturday. Listen, my boy Wheezy and I are still going to do the Blitz podcast. Um, the last couple days, like I said, it's been kind of crazy. I caught a stomach virus. Lucky me. So I'm probably not going to be streaming tonight, which was supposed to be the night that we were going to do it. We were going to do it today, but I just have too much going on, bro. Like my apologies to y'all, and I just have a lot going on. So we're looking at tomorrow or Saturday, either way. And we're gonna try to put out some content, and try to get something out to y'all ASAP. So I just wanted to keep y'all in the loop with that. But yeah, it's your boy Zaho Facts, man. This is Talking Sporty, and I'll be back soon.